Welcome back, traders. What a week, huh? Despite the slew of earnings releases, markets finished the week on a bullish note. SPY and QQQ gapped up boldly only to pair gains, but that IW on trendline hold has bulls whispering about a possible small-cap springboard into November's earnings frenzy. You tuned into the Stock Market Summary series, and as you guys know, none of this is buying or selling advice. We're just here to provide market commentary and education. But nothing we say here is financial advice. So let's unpack that technical picture from the week. We saw SPY and QQQ, shoot up strongly into the close, which looks good on the surface.
Right.
But they left those pretty glaring unfilled gap windows open below.
Yeah, and those gaps can act like magnets, can't they?
Exactly. It almost feels like an open invitation for bears to maybe try and pull things back next week.
You're absolutely right about those large cap gaps. They're a definite point of caution for short-term bears, but what really shifts the balance, I think, this week is the action in IWM, the Russell 2000. It absolutely defended that key rising support trend line. That's pretty critical.
So more than just a technical hold, then?
I think so. This defense, it suggests traders might be positioning for, less interest rate sensitivity, maybe seeing small caps as maybe undervalued compared to the big guys.
That sets up a really fascinating risk-reward scenario, doesn't it?
It does.
If the small caps can sustain that momentum, it helps validate the broader market strength.
But
well, we can't ignore those external headwinds either.
Exactly. And speaking of headwinds, we've got to keep our eye on the U.S. dollar index, DXY.
Right, the dollar strength.
Yeah, it's picking up some serious upside steam again. Looks like it's targeting that high from back on August 1st.
And a rising dollar is, well, typically bad news for stocks, isn't it?
It's a classic headwind, especially for multinationals. It just makes those overseas earnings less valuable when they bring them back home. Something to watch closely.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. We had a listener ask about IWR, the iShares Russell Midcap ETF. They noted a potential triple top reversal pattern. Looking at it, you can see that look, but honestly, our bias is pretty neutral right now just because it's been consolidating sideways.
Yeah, consolidation muddies the water a bit on patterns like that.
The real worry point, though, I think, is that support trend line connecting the closes from August 11th and October 10th. A break there would be concerning. And another listener request, XLC, the Communications Select Sector Fund. The suggestion was a bear flag breakdown.
Okay, XLC.
And looking at that chart, it certainly looks like a short-term break, doesn't it? It slipped below both the 20 and the 50-day moving averages.
It does look bearish in the immediate term, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, this is where trading context really matters.
How so?
Well, while it's breaking down on that shorter time frame, it's still well above its 200-day moving average.
Right, the longer-term trend is still up.
Exactly. And that gives us an important framework. The probabilities are just different when you're looking at a breakdown setup within a long-term uptrend versus one in a long-term downtrend.
Makes sense.
Trading is always about stacking those probabilities in your favor, looking at the bigger picture. And, that's actually the kind of detailed probability technique we really dive into in our mentorship program.
Good point. Okay. As always, guys, if you've got a stock you're watching or a question about the markets, drop it in the comments. We might cover it in an upcoming episode. And by the way, if you're enjoying this video and appreciate these market summaries, do us a big favor and hit that like button. It's totally free and helps us out in a big way. And click subscribe, too, so you don't miss a beat. You can always unsubscribe later. All right, let's shift to the Catalyst watch list for next week. Two names really stood out today.
Okay.
First, QuantumScape, ticker QS. Huge volume breakout today from a pretty tight consolidation pattern.
Ah, QS. Saw that move.
Yeah, that's a momentum magnet right there.
We'll definitely watch for follow-through next week. Could be interesting.
Second one is JOBY, Joby Aviation. Regular listeners know we've tracked this one before. It started picking up some serious momentum and volume today, just as it sits in this perfect symmetrical triangle pattern.
And the catalyst?
Earnings. They're due next week.
Triangle plus earnings catalyst. Classic setup to watch. Okay, on the macro side, things were a bit overshadowed by the grinding government shutdown. It's now entering its 5th week.
Still ongoing, wow.
Yeah, and you had Bofas Moynihan echoing that risk of malaise settling in. It's like trying to run a race with an anchor tied to your ankle,
Doesn't help confidence, that's for sure.
Not at all. And compounding that, the IMF's latest outlook is flagging a pretty definite global growth slowdown. So macro picture is still a bit murky.
Okay, and finally, let's do a quick check on the alternatives. Bitcoin.
BTC nudged up about 1.28%.
Oh, okay.
but it's sitting like right at that key 200-day moving average.
So real battleground level.
Exactly. It's still a directional tug of war for crypto right there. Decision time soon, probably.
And metals, gold, silver,
Uh,
GLD, SLV.
yeah, those safe haven bids, they eased off a little bit today. Both dipped just below their 20-day moving averages.
Pullback time.
We're seeing it less as a reversal, more as just, post-rally consolidation, maybe gathering steam for the next potential leg up, loading fresh conviction, perhaps.
Okay, so pulling it all together then.
Yeah, if we connect all these pieces, today's modest rebound feels like maybe a fitting cap to October's overall sprint. Market gained nearly 3% for the month, blends that technical firepower we saw, especially in IWM, against those lingering macro shadows.
Right, so here's the provocative thought maybe to take into the weekend. Does that IWM trendline support stand strong? Strong enough to launch a small cap catch-up rally into November? Or will something like QS with that huge breakout momentum today just run away and steal the show next week?
Interesting question. Be curious to see what viewers think.
Yeah, hit the comments with your read on that one. We wish you all a great weekend. Stay safe out there.
Yeah, great weekend, everyone.
And tune in next week as we continue to cover the markets and all these developments we've mentioned.